to another exciting episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Bench.
Afternoon, YouTube. Here with you on this Thursday afternoon to do a short video. Not specifically for Marty, but I'm sure Marty will appreciate it. No, this one's for Ron C. He asked that I do an overview of my Variac again, and I can show you basically what it's connected to and how it's connected and things like that. And I was going to say here, if I can find me a pointer. Here we go. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here's my Variac right here. And there's the switch for it right there. Turns it on. There's the fuse holder right there. This green wire coming out is ground wire. This wire here that plugs into the output, and it says isolated output on there. Anybody that doubts that, is the line that runs over. I know you can't follow it, but if you go underneath here and we follow it this way all the way across, it goes to this panel here that is called my AC panel. So that's where the output of the Variac goes. In addition to, being the AC volts meter here being across the line, the AC amps is in series with the line, which makes it read whatever voltage, or amperage I should say, comes out of these taps right here. I have two regular outlet taps right here and these two binding posts that I just put on the other day. They are all paralleled together. They're across each other basically. And so whatever comes out of here is the same that comes out of here. So in addition to that, I have two wires also connected to these on the inside that run all the way over here over the top of this. Let me get it moved a little bit. Over top of this outlet here into the black box, which is my DC panel. And inside the circuitry, if you followed my videos, you saw that there's basically a full wave rectifier and some capacitance in there to filter the DC. And I've also got some other circuitry. Tried to limit this to like 50 volts. If I didn't limit it, I probably would blow the cap up because it's only a 50 volt cap in there, electrolyte cap. So I don't want to blow that up. And anyway, here's the switch for that down here, and these are the taps for it, the positive and the negative. So that's what that all connects to. Now, excuse me. Going back over here to the Variac. In addition to the wires, this being the on-off switch, the wires that go into power the Variac, these wires down here, run over to this switch right here. And as soon as I turn this switch off, the Variac goes off. So that's like a master switch for the Variac and everything else on my bench. So when I turn this switch off, everything goes off. And that's exactly the way I've wanted it for a long time now. Now the dim bulb tester here doesn't really have anything to do with it now because it's not hooked up. I used to have it hooked up with the Variac, but it's all by itself now. It's just in between there. It's just the location, all that is. Now in addition to the wire running over here, there's wires that run from here, this brown wire. It's a lamp cord. You can barely see it in there, but it runs over here, up this way here to this black box over here. Now inside this black box is a relay and two batteries, two 9-volt batteries. Now those batteries power these meters. I found out early on with these cheap Chinese panel meters that you cannot run them off 2 meters off the same power supply. It will burn out one of the meters. So I don't know why that works that way, but it does. And so I set this kind of complex system of a relay. There you can see it right there going in between the cardboard box and the black box. That's a lamp cord there, goes into the side, and basically excuse me, basically when you turn on the Variac over here, now it energizes this relay in here, and relay switches the batteries on and off. So basically when you turn it on, I will turn it on just to show you, you see the meters come on. So that's why I think that's why the batteries have lasted so long because they're well over a year old now in there. So they go off when the switch goes off. So excuse me. Anyway, that's how that works. So basically this is my output for the Variac, and it works out really well because I get a reading of the voltage coming out. I get a reading of the amperage if I've got a load on it, and I can see pretty quick that you know, it's drawing this much amperage or whatever. And I have future plans for this. I plan on putting another panel in over there on the other side of the DC panel. It will also be DC. It'll go right here, but it will be a high voltage DC. It will also run off of the Variac. Basically, it will consist of a voltage doubler. I think I've pretty much decided on voltage doubler. That's going to give me over 400 volts of voltage output. It will also have a voltmeter and a current meter. And the idea is not to take it over 100 milliamps. So I'll probably just have a milliamp meter on it. So main reason for that is to power old radio circuits. Say you've got an old radio that's been sitting in a dingy, dirty, dusty basement for 20-30 years, and you don't want to hook that up to the power line because you never know what's going on. And even hooking it up to the Variac could cause some consequences. So what you do is you take and run high voltage in at the capacitor, at the main filter capacitor, without powering up the radio, just to test the circuits. And like I said, this very sensitive ammeter on there, and you keep an eye on that ammeter as you crank up the voltage, and you see if it's going to short out or what, or if it does short out or whatever. And like I said, it's just an easy way to test that without any real risk to anything else. Now the dim bulb does that to a certain degree, but like I said, it's just one of those other methods that you can use to try and be safe when you power up these old radios and see if they'll take the charge or not. Like I said, they sit there that long, you don't know what kind of shape they're in. So that's what you want that for, and it could be used for any other project that required a high voltage, but that's the main reason for what I want it for, and that's the next thing I'm going to add to that. But I think that pretty much covers the Variac and its uses on the bench. Now, as I alluded to a while ago, this particular Variac is an isolated isolation transformer in addition to being a Variac. It has a dedicated primary and a dedicated secondary, and in fact the adjustable part of the voltage is on the secondary. So it is fully isolated from the power line. So anything comes out over here out of this yellow and black Variac output here panel will not be connected to that center tap. Now there is a connection here, and let me point that out while I'm here. Let me point this one more time, and if we look at this green wire right here, that green wire comes down around through, round she goes, and it comes out and it comes over to this case, this faceplate, whatever you call it. The faceplate itself, it does go to the ground tap there, and I think even the screws are actually earth ground potential. So this whole thing is pretty much earth ground potential. But now when we work on old radios, and we don't want to be around the ground, so the plugs they use are always 2-prong plugs. So there's never ever anything connected to that third prong, unless it's by design that I want to connect something to it or something like that. But, so anywho, that's how that works. And like I say, there is. Let me prove that real quick. All right, there's our ohmmeter. It's on the continuity setting, so you can see when I touch these two together, it does that. So if I touch, let's just say over here, show you where I'm touching, the ground or the case around the Variac. So let's go back over here now and see what we're going to touch. So you can hear it. I don't see it. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Yeah, there we go. See, I can touch any part of this panel, and it is grounded. The whole panel is grounded. It's earth ground, and so that's a good thing, actually. I wanted to make sure that I did have a connection to earth ground over there. It's not that I use it for working on radios, but I just wanted it there. And I just thought that would be a better thing to have that at earth ground potential for safety reasons. So now you can see pretty much the whole setup, or at least what I say it is. I did a diagram of it at one time. I don't have it handy, but it shows how it's wired up. But for you, Ron, that's how I've got it set up, and I think that covers it pretty good. Again, turning the light out causes everything to go off, so that's a safety feature to me, because I forget all the time, and with that off, I know everything is off, and so I like it a lot. So anyway, what I'm working on today, let me turn these back on, is this, now that I have my batteries charged up, this bypass. I put, that's what I printed up with the batteries about half dead, and it just barely came out. So I need to put up a new one, and I think I'm going to use my new 3/8 tape. I think that's what that is. Looks like a 3/8. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to use that and put bypass. I'll probably put by with the hyphen and pass underneath to make it all fit in there, so I don't have to wrap that around. It's a little bit on the hard side when that wraps around on the plastic like that. It just doesn't want to stick, and these here stick really good, so I was happy about that. So let me do that and get off here, and like I said, I've got almost 14 minutes. Sorry, Marty. Anyway, that's a look at the Variac supply for my bench, and I hope that answers all your questions, Ron. If not, please contact me in the comments and let me know if there's something I missed that you wanted me to specifically point out. I do have wire on the way. I could not find any yellow, but I have gold wire coming, and it's line cord wire. That's the only thing I could find. So it's 18 gauge. That won't hurt anything. I mean, it's just actually better, but I wanted 20, but like I say, the only thing 20 is the clear and the red and black, as I could see, speaker wire basically and things like that. So I'll just go with that when it comes in. I did manage to lose a screw yesterday. I had looked all over for that, for the little screw that goes in there to secure the wire. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably have to take one of the other ones off the other banana plugs, and then maybe hopefully one day find it. I got underneath the desk and use this stick here. basically to go under every inch of that underneath there that I couldn't see, and rake across there to hopefully to get that out of there, but it didn't come out. So anyway, that's how to do me for today. And like I said, I really didn't want to make this long of a video. And so you guys, it's trying to rain again here today. It's kind of overcast, but not that bad, I guess. I got to go get Lexi here at 5, and it's 4:30 now, so time I get this uploaded to the camera, it'll be about time to go get her. So you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you.